AMC absolutely getting the upside that we were looking for. Let's go ahead and verify what could be happening for the coming days. What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for stopping by once again on this Taco Tuesday. This is ARCa coming at you with an AMC technicals and raw price action thread of analysis. Before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share the video with a friend so that you and them could consider joining our trading community in Discord called ARCa Bulls. With that said, let's dive right into the charts. All right, so we're looking at AMC on the 12-hour chart here, and we actually did succeed a very important area. Okay, so let's go ahead and just zoom out just a little bit, and please remember that I was talking about finding the floor right about in this area, of which I did give a target right down here. When you can see that we actually went right to that 0382, found that bounce from my discretionary little box that we drew yesterday, right? And then we launched to the upside as per expected. Okay, so now the target that we ended up in was very important. We touched the 2 fib, okay? But the good thing is that we actually ended up closing above the 1.618 at 594, right? So we're currently sitting at 595 in the after hours, right? So the good thing, I mean, aside from that, the actual close for the day, you know, according to TradingView, of course, it's going to vary with every broker, right? But the close is actually 609. So very, very impressive price action here coming out of AMC. And let's just go ahead and touch on that very important detail. Okay, so please remember that we're looking at a broadening descending wedge within a larger scale broadening descending wedge, right? So we're at the first stage of actually making this thing realize. Okay, so first of all, always expect, even if it doesn't happen, right? Always expect for us to break out of the channel and then come back to test our newly converted resistance into support before a continuation onto the upside. I express all the time how important it is for us to realize those supports before we can continue on to the upside, just like we did yesterday. Okay, we said that we really need to validate these areas of support. Likely we could come back to this very discretionary side of that box before finding that upside, and it did happen just like we said. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and move on to the next chart and see what we got going. Okay, the next thing I wanted to reference was the 8-hour chart, where we have been looking at this ascending channel, right? So we actually did talk about finding that support from the newly converted resistance, what was a resistance, into now a support before finding that upside. Okay, we had 2 areas of support, being that 13-day exponential moving average and also the bottom or the the bottom side of the channel, of the ascending channel. So the upside move that we actually faced today, or based on the firing of the actual upside and the downside of this statistical upside, which actually indicated about a 49% move to the upside, we have actually moved about 33% of that. Now, although we are looking at a little bit of a corrective move right here, it's honestly expected since we have, rallied to the upside in a very violent way. Okay, so let's go ahead and now take a look at something interesting here, okay, because the daily chart is actually suggesting a continuation to the upside with no give from that momentum, okay? And also volatility is now starting to continue into its expansion phase, and potentially in a couple days it could reach that critical volatility, which would then pressure the price even further to the upside, to the target where we were looking for at about 695 being the resistance of this area here. Okay, the next area that would be highly likely to touch would be the wick high of this candle here, which would be at about 733, right? Which then would fall within the resistance zone of this channel. Okay, so just like I said, we're trading a range, right? We're trading that ABCD strategy, and it is succeeding just the way that we were talking about. Okay, so now let's go ahead and reference the RSI and find out what could be happening in momentum. Okay, so 30-minute immediate short-term time frame is still suggesting a little bit of a corrective move here, but please bear in mind your RSI signal. Okay, so your RSI signal represented by this purple line is suggesting for us to maybe find a little bit of consolidation here before a continuation onto the upside. We do have that 14-day simple as a resistance above us. We do have as support the gravitational zone. Okay, so we do have 2 forms of resistance and 1 form of support right down here. But remember, it's likely to live out fast. It's a 30-minute. So let's move on to the bi-hourly. Bi-hourly is still suggesting a continuation to the upside. It's a little weak on that pivot, but what's helping us is the fact that we are well within the grips of the bull strength percentile and also starting to approach that gravitational zone from the bull strength, and then that would essentially catapult us to the upside. Okay, so from the perspective of the 6-hour and I believe the 8-hour as well. So, okay, actually, no, just the 6-hour. So from the perspective of the 6-hour, there could be a small pullback, and that could be in relevance to maybe tomorrow in the just after the morning, maybe when the volatility starts to kind of run down. I mean, other than the fact that we are still suggesting a continuation to the upside in that buy hourly, this could signal a little bit of a support area back down to, actually we can see it from over here, right? A support area to be touched right at about 581 to about 574. Remember, we need to come back and validate that support before the up. Whoa, sorry about that. Before the upside. Almost released a huge one there, a huge burp. Yeah. So and that's kind of what the 6-hour is insinuating. It's insinuating that we actually come back, find that support from that 14-day simple. Sometimes we actually don't actually have to come back all the way to the 14-day simple. Please notice here, we actually find that downside and we find that support somehow and then still continue on to the upside. We're still very well within the bull strength percentile here, and we're not yet in the gravitational zone. As soon as we do reach that gravitational zone, then yeah, we can actually face a little bit of a pullback, thus fulfilling that support touch of what I'm talking about here, right at about 580 to about around 573, right around there, and then continue on to the upside. Okay, so the 12-hour time frame is also suggesting a very, very, very weak pullback. We are in that gravitational zone, which would essentially send us right back down into the prior zone, but find the support from the gravitational zone here, and then we would essentially go onwards and upwards. Okay, so now, the relevance of the buy daily and the daily, okay, because the daily didn't actually have this yesterday. We have made a bullish cross above the 14-day simple, and we are in that gravitational zone now. So this is essentially going to pull us up. So whatever needs to be solidified tomorrow will be solidified tomorrow before a continuation onto the upside, and that's very likely to come back down and test that area that I'm talking about before a continuation. Okay, so now that continuation can actually be limited to a target here, ranging between, I'm going to go ahead and just draw a box right over here so that we can actually see what the play can be for tomorrow, right? So 2.618 at about 697 to about the wick high of our current highs, right up here to about $7.35 could be that area of resistance in the coming sessions. Okay, you guys, so please go ahead and know that I'm not a financial advisor. Take whatever I do show and iterate within these videos as just a form of entertainment, as I cannot suggest for you to buy or sell any assets whatsoever. Please do your own due diligence and everything will be just fine. Let's jump right in to the buy daily and take a look at this. We're now making a bullish cross above that 14-day simple and inside of the bull weakness percentile and outside of the gravitational zone that would essentially bring us back down. Please go ahead and take a gander at that 3-day time frame, that one that we were referring to yesterday. Go ahead and notice that the upside is now being suggested very much so, and also on that 5-day. The 5-day now approaching that gravitational zone from the bear weakness percentile, which would essentially consider or suggest a continuation to the upside in days ahead as well. Okay, you guys, so yes, I am saying that. I'm saying a short-term pullback. Let the longs get loaded up right here before a continuation onto the upside, potentially reach the target of about $6.97 within the next few days, right? If we are going to come a little short of that target, then very much consider the 2.272 at about $6.79, as it is a pertinent target, or it is appropriate for us to consider that target as well. Okay, definitely expect a resistance at $6.45 at the 1.618, because we would essentially come back down, validate our area of the our support zone here of the golden pocket at the 0.618, then bounce to the upside and continue onwards and upwards, right? So this is looking very good for the AMC asset. Very exciting here for you guys. If you do have any questions, please go ahead and refer to the links in the description below, where you can actually contact me via Twitter or Discord, right? So please know that there are only about 14 to 13 seats, maybe less, available in the ARC Masters trading course that I am now offering. Go ahead and refer to the Discord link down below so you can reserve your seat now before it's too late. Okay, you guys? So with that said, I wish you well, a very good night, and I will catch you at the bell mañana. Adios.